More Idaho Matters now from the studios of Boise State Public Radio News. I'm Gemma Gaudette. The Boise Depot is turning 100 years old this week. This iconic part of Idaho's capital city has morphed from a train depot to an important community gathering space, and Boise is celebrating with 4 days of anniversary events. So here to tell us more are Jennifer Stevens, Director of the Department of Arts and History at the City of Boise, and Doug Holloway, the Director of Parks and Recreation. So, Jennifer, give us a little bit of history about the Boise Depot. When was it built?
Well, hi, Gemma. Thanks so much for having us today and bringing attention to this exciting community set of events. The Boise Depot was constructed starting in 1924, and the first mainline passenger train came through just a year later in 1925. And it was an exciting event because the citizens of Boise had been clamoring for the main line to come through the city for about 40 years. Up until that time in 1925, the only branch that came through was a branch line. And so when we built the depot and the first passenger train came through, it really put Boise on the map, both figuratively as well as literally.
Mm-hmm. So talk a little bit more about that, Jennifer. I mean, how important was the depot to Boise's, the city's development over time?
Yeah, it was actually really important. By having a train come through, the main line come through, it essentially created a lot of economic opportunity. So people who traveled from east to west or west to east would now really have to come through the city capital or the state capital. And what that meant was that people began to see and recognize the resources that Boise had to offer. And of course, the station itself is a stunning, icon of our city. It sits up on a hill. It overlooks the Boise River. It overlooks Boise's downtown, and of course, it overlooks our foothills. So the ability to have Boise on the map, be part of the main line, and have people coming through that never would have seen the place otherwise really meant a lot for the growth. And with the construction of the depot, we began to see the bench area that we know now develop and a lot of homes being built up there. And it really just meant a lot for both the economic development of the city as well as the social development of the city and the region.
And when did the train stop?
Well, it stopped twice. The Union Pacific stopped running passenger trains through here in the early 70s. And then that was during the same decade that Amtrak was created by the United States government. And so it was in the 1970s that it came through as Amtrak, and then it finally ceased to come through in the 1990s. 1997, we saw the last train, passenger train anyway, come through the depot area. And really it was because the transportation system of the country really became driven by automobiles, no pun intended. And the ubiquity of the car, the ease with which people could just hop in their car at any time that they wanted and not be on anybody's schedule but their own, made it so that train travel began to decline. And so we saw the trains stop coming through here in 1997. And with it, some of that nostalgic, fun set of travel things that people used to do in older times.
And Doug, let's talk about what's happened, since then, because, and let's start with this really beautiful park that is part of the Boise Depot. As Jennifer mentioned, the depot sits up on a hill, but then there is this beautiful park below it.
Yeah. And again, thanks for having us today, Gemma. We're 4 days into this event, and Platt Garden is the park that you're referring to. And again, Jennifer kind of mentioned it, but obviously, we all know this is a very iconic, treasured facility, and so is that park site below it as well. But the fact that something that turns 100 years, it only happens like once, right? And so to celebrate it appropriately and to celebrate it with all of our community has been very important to us over the last couple of days. Platt Garden has been associated with this depot facility for several decades. And it just adds to that iconic view shed that Jennifer had mentioned earlier, looking down Capitol or looking from Capitol up to the depot. It just really adds a lot to it to have that greenery out front and the beautiful shrubbery that we have there.
And I only have about 2 minutes left with you, so I want to talk about the big celebration coming up on Wednesday, which is the actual birthday of the depot. There's a Roaring 20s theme party. Can you guys talk to us about that?
Yeah, so we'll have the Boise State Jazz Band will be there entertaining our guests. We're encouraging people to dress in the 1920s attire, although that is not required. And we have a number of events we'll be having that evening. In addition to those themed events, we'll have some. Our public library will do an Excite Trike pop-up. Our arts and history team will have a booth with Fighting Bob activity events. We are doing some stamp projects as well during that event. So just a lot of things for the entire family to come out and enjoy. And the mayor will say a few words, and we've just got some announcements we want to make during that period of time as well. So we do encourage parking at Ann Morrison Park. We have shuttles that will start at 5 o'clock and go every 15 minutes. There will not be or be very limited parking other than ADA parking at the depot. So we encourage you to take those shuttles. And the Peasley staircase connection is also open, so you can park at the softball fields there and take that connection up to the depot. So looking forward to a great event on Wednesday evening.
Well, I want to thank both of you so much for coming in and talking with us about this. Such a great way to celebrate the depot. We've been speaking with Jennifer Stevens, Director of the Department of Arts and History at the City of Boise, along with Doug Holloway, the Director of Parks and Recreation, talking about the 100th anniversary of the Boise Depot. The big celebration is this Wednesday. We'll make sure to put some links on our website, boisestatepublicradio.org. You've been listening to Idaho Matters from Boise State Public Radio. I'm Gemma Gaudette.